All right, we're going to start working on page 2 of the study guide for Unit 4. Problem number 3 says specifically we're going to use synthetic division to find another factor, given we have a factor of x plus 7. So what we want to do is start with that factor and find its 0. So x plus 7 is equal to 0, which means we have a 0 of -7. So that -7 is what I'm going to work with in the synthetic division problem along with the coefficients here for the polynomial. So coefficient of 2, 11, -17, 26, and then -14. Give myself a little workspace here. The first number in synthetic division drops straight down. Let's see, -7 times 2 is -14. I'm going to add those up vertically, so that's going to be -3. -7 times -3 is 21. That's going to be -17 plus 21 is +4. -7 times 4 is -28. -2 when I add those up. -7 times -2 is +14, which means I have a remainder of 0, which means I did the problem right. Okay, so just be aware of that. If you didn't get a remainder of 0, then something went wrong. Because we know that this is in fact a factor, then we have to get a remainder of 0. All right, now that I've reminded you about the remainder, okay, so this problem right here has the remainder of 0. The next value to the left is the constant, and then I'm going to start counting up my powers of x. So the next number to the left is going to be the coefficient for x to the first. The next number over is going to be the coefficient for x squared, and then the first number here is x cubed, or the coefficient for x cubed. So if I write that answer out, the other factor would be 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 2. So that is the other factor for our polynomial. All right. You might be asked in a different problem to continue factoring that given more information, but based off of what we have right now, this is it. All right, so just let it be. All right, we're going to do a little bit more division in question number 4. So let's see, we've got h of x, we've got g of x, and we are supposed to determine g of x divided by h of x. All right, so synthetic division, I'm going to start with x minus 4, that's what I'm dividing by, and I want to find its 0, so x equals 4. And then for synthetic division, I again just want to pull the coefficients here of the polynomial I'm dividing into. However, this particular polynomial is missing a bunch of terms. So we've got the coefficient of x to the 4th, the coefficient of x cubed, the coefficient of x squared, the coefficient of x, and then the constant. All right. So just be careful with this. You do have to have all these placeholders to make the synthetic division work. So x to the 4th, x to the 3rd, x squared, x, and then your constant. So make sure all of them are listed. First number drops straight down. Let's see, 4 times 1 is 4. Add vertically. So 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Add vertically. Multiply. 4 times 16. I have a calculator sitting next to me, so I'm going to grab that and double check that that turns into 64. Add that vertically. So 4 times 64. Whoa, wrong answer. I knew that wasn't right. All right, so 256 gets me a remainder of 0. Let's see, we are just supposed to do the division. Okay, so we've got a remainder of 0. And just like in the last problem number 3, I counted all of the pieces. I'm going to do the same thing. So 64 is my constant. 16 is the coefficient of x to the 1st. 4 is the coefficient of x squared. And 1 here is going to be the coefficient of x cubed. So my answer, if I put it all together, would be 1x cubed plus 4x squared plus 16x plus 64. You'll notice I did not actually write the coefficient of 1. Feel free to write it if it makes you happy. It's not going to change whether the answer is right or wrong. All right, problem part B, given k of x and j of x, determine k of x divided by j of x. Okay, so same idea, but this time we're going to take x plus 2, find its 0, so negative 2. And I want to grab the coefficients of the k of x polynomial. Now this one we're missing, it looks like we're missing some of the even polynomial or the even x terms. So we're going to have a lot of values that we need to fill in for placeholders. So x to the 7th has a coefficient of 1. X to the 6th doesn't exist, placeholder. X to the 5th have a coefficient of 1. X to the 4th doesn't exist, placeholder. X to the 3rd is a coefficient of negative 10. X squared doesn't exist, placeholder. X does not exist, placeholder, and then the constant is 12. All right, I want to double check that I got everything. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, constant. All right, let's start rolling through the problem. Drop the 1, we're going to multiply. Negative 2, add. Multiply. Add, multiply. Let's see, that's going to be negative 10. Multiply is positive 20, so that turns into positive 10. Negative 20, so negative 20 here. What would that be? Positive 40, so there's 40 there. Negative 80, so that's going to be negative 68. All right, let's organize this. So we've got the remainder, the constant. We've got x to the 1st, x squared, x cubed, x to the 4th, x to the 5th, and then x to the 6th. So I'm going to zoom in so I can write right below it. All right, so it's going to be x to the 6th minus 2x to the 5th plus 5x to the 4th minus 10x cubed plus 10x squared minus 20x plus 40 minus my remainder divided by x plus 2. All right. That whole mess in the box there in pink is the answer for problem number 4, part B. All right. Question number 5 has 2 parts to it. Use the graph and division to determine the factors of the polynomial. All right. So what I'm going to notice is one of these, so my factors relate to my zeros, which are basically my x-intercepts. So my x-intercept, I have one that's really obvious, one that's not so obvious. The obvious one, I know x is equal to negative 6. So one of my factors, because this is a 0, I'm going to flip the sign, and I know one of my factors is x plus 6. Now I need to figure out the other factor. Now it says to use division. I tend to use synthetic division just because I find it faster. So I'm going to use the value that x is equal to, so negative 6, grab the coefficients of my function, so 3, 11, negative 42. I'm going to zoom in on that, we're just focused on this one piece. All right, drop the first one, multiply, so what is that? Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. Add them up vertically, negative 7. That's going to turn into positive 42, so a remainder of 0. So if I organize it and label it, that's my remainder of 0. That's my constant. This is my x. So the other factor is 3x minus 7. So the two factors for part A are x plus 6 and 3x minus 7. The order that you write those two makes no difference to this problem whatsoever. All right, part B, we're going to do the exact same thing. This time we know this 0 sitting right over here. So we know that x is equal to 3. Again, we want to write our two factors. So if x is equal to 3, flip the sign, which means one of my factors is x minus 3. So I'm going to set up the synthetic division using what x is equal to. Grab the coefficients. Remember, this negative x has a coefficient of -1. So be careful there. All right, first number drops. 6, +5, 15, 0. So if I organize and label, we've got a remainder of 0, a constant of 5, and 2 is going to be the coefficient of x. So the other factor is 2x plus 5, giving me two factors for part B of x minus 3 and 2x minus 5. Again, order does not matter on how you write the two factors. All right, so that's the end of page 2. There'll be a separate video for the rest. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns.